WPKY, Princeton.
You're listening to your hometown radio station, 103.3 FM The Tiger, on translator ID W277CK, Princeton, Kentucky.
From the WPKY Weather Center, here's a look at the latest local forecast on 103.3 FM The Tiger.
Today we're looking at mostly sunny skies with highs near 88. Tonight mostly clear skies with lows around 67. Looking ahead to the weekend, Saturday mostly sunny skies, highs near 89. Saturday night mostly clear skies with lows around 68. Sunday, a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms moves into our listening area. Otherwise, mostly sunny skies Sunday with highs near 87. And looking ahead to the start of our next work week, Monday, mostly sunny skies again with highs near 85.
This weather update has been brought to you by Kay's Kitchen, offering home-style food at a reasonable price near downtown Princeton.
ABC News, I'm Janae Norman. The eye of Hurricane Florence onshore in North Carolina. The storm bringing life-threatening storm surge, pelting rains, and 90-mile-an-hour winds. ABC's Ryan Burrow has been talking to folks in Fayetteville.
Are you nervous about some of the flooding?
I am for some people, yeah. See, I sit on higher ground, but the people that's on lower, that's a concern.
A lot of people are talking about Hurricane Matthew.
Yeah.
Were you here for that?
Yes.
How did that impact you?
It didn't impact me, but it impacted some of my loved ones. It was horrible.
Well over 30 inches of rain has already been reported in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. The state has over 400,000 power outages. Sources now tell ABC News that former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort has reached a tentative plea deal with special counsel Robert Mueller's office. Thousands of buildings in 3 towns north of Boston are being checked after a string of explosions. This is ABC News. Hawaii is dealing with a storm of its own after Tropical Storm Olivia dumped over a foot of rain. Officials are now warning that thousands of people in Honolulu may have to evacuate. But a monster of a storm is headed right at the Philippines, the biggest typhoon of the year.
Winds are kicking up ahead of Saturday's landfall, and the evacuation of thousands from the path is underway. Schools are closed, bulldozers are ready, rescuers and troops are on full alert. More than 4 million people live in the area deemed to be at most risk from the storm. The super typhoon is packing winds and gusts equivalent to a Category 5 Atlantic hurricane. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
The city of Sapporo, Japan is now expected to pull out of the running for the 2026 Winter Olympics. City officials are due to meet the head of the International Olympic Committee on Monday. The decision comes a week after an earthquake near the city killed more than 40 people. Janae Norman, ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Good morning and welcome to Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. Opening up, I've got some very sad news to report. I'm here by myself. I want all of our thoughts and prayers to go out to DT. He is in the hospital in Paducah, and he's unable to attend this morning. I think he's doing much better. He had a perforated appendix and had an emergency surgery on Sunday night, and I was able to talk to his wife Janie yesterday, and he's still having to go through the process of getting better, and we want to wish him a speedy recovery. And DT, if you're out there listening, brother, I can't wait to get you back, but I sure do have some good fill-ins this morning. I want to welcome to the show this morning Coach Larry Curlin, Billy Hooks, and Bryan Cortner, two of our members from the 1998 state championship football team. And along with Larry here this morning, we're glad to be here. And, of course, this is a big weekend. The Caldwell County Tigers take on the Henderson County Colonels in a big matchup tonight, a non-district matchup. Henderson County's gotten off to a great start this season, and I think they're 3-1 right now. The only loss that they've had was to Evansville Wrights, who is a strong football team in the Evansville area, and I know they're rebuilding their team in the last few years, and it looks like they're coming back strong. So we need a big crowd tonight. We've got a lot of festivities going on, Larry.
I love festivities.
I know it, and the reason I wanted to get you in here, we're going to talk about the festivities. It's a big game, of course, and we're bringing back the 1998 state championship Caldwell County Tiger football team, and many of them are going to be here and some that cannot make it, and I've been able to stay in contact with several of them, with social media this day and time that, I learned how to get on the Facebook. I don't put a lot on there, but, I have learned how to use the message system, and I was able to message most of them. Not all of them were on there, but I got a hold of most of them, and I'm thankful for the radio station and the Times Leader as well, getting the information out to them and, putting it in the paper. But it's a big night here in Princeton, Caldwell County, as we celebrate that 20 years. I cannot believe it's been 20 years. Can you?
No. But be interesting to see a lot of those old guys. Some of them you hadn't seen some of them at the 10-year reunion, but it'd be interesting to see them, how much they changed. I know a lot of them have aged a lot, but me and you hadn't aged a bit.
Well, when Bryan walked in, I said, I wish you were about that size when you played on the offensive line for us back then. And, of course, as you look back on that season, which it was a magical season, and everything just kind of seemed to come together as we progressed on through it. Bryan was a wide receiver. He played in the secondary on defense for you, and of course, he played wide receiver. And, of course, we had pretty good talent at those positions. And
Bryan did what we needed. He converted himself to an offensive guard just to help the team, and it was a pretty good lineman.
He came down where it mattered.
He was
I practiced at wide receiver. We got to get that right. I didn't play at wide receiver.
I think everybody called him Rudy because he was a team player.
That's right.
He really was, and of course I remember him coming in. We were talking about it, and I said, we need help on the offensive line. We needed help up there, and he was very unselfish and made a sacrifice. He had to change numbers. And that's not easy after wearing a number for 3 years.
Run plays in.
Run plays. He ran plays. Him and James Bond, they sure did. They ran the plays in for us. And
did you run in plays today?
No, I don't run today.
We can talk about the modern era, which today everything's signaled in. And, of course, back in 1998, heck, we had to run the plays. And, we didn't have a way to, I guess we could have come up with a signal system, but, we were able to huddle up, and they could talk to each other in the huddle, which I feel like was a good thing. And, most of them, basically most all of them went both ways. So, we needed to lengthen the game as, and able to catch our breath.
Never walked off the field. Yeah.
Billy, I believe you went both ways, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Billy was our center, and he was our nose guard, too. Good nose guard.
Billy was probably 5'10", 100. What did you weigh back then?
160.
About 160 or 65, and was a center. And probably most every game you were outmanned. I mean, probably by 100. And I know one in particular, the state championship game, we went up against probably one of the best defensive linemen in the state, in Nathan Fuqua. And, he was a beast. And
that's when Cenote and Bond and Westbug and all them came in. We had some help.
We did, and I remember at halftime, all I could see the first half was him back there chasing us down. And
Billy was the same way on defense. He was a good nose guard. He's a penetrator, had a good rip move, would get along into the line of scrimmage. He was our penetrator.
That's because you was our defensive coordinator and told me where to go, see?
Well, back then it's a little different. You know, our offenses we went against were either a 2-back or 3-back set. Today you see a no-back set. And we used Billy a lot to get some penetration. You've seen a lot of wing T teams.
We did.
Wing T teams, they had a lot of motion. 90% of the time they had motion. And 90% of the time they would run toward the motion. And we'd always slant Billy to the motion side. And we played a wing T team like Crittenden County. He'd end up with 14, 15 tackles.
Yep, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I still say the strength of that football team, of course, we scored a lot of points, but they were set up because we had such a good defense. And, you know, we had probably 3 of the best linebackers that came through during that era. Talk a little bit about them.
Gerald, Justin, and
Nathan.
Jason.
Or Jason.
Yeah, Gerald, Jason, and Justin. We call them the 3 J's. You know, Justin and Gerald, they had the speed and athleticism to get outside to prevent the sweeps and quick pitches. Jason, he was a plugger. He was good, tough, strong kid, and anything ran up the middle, he would pretty well stop. Even on the counters, the speed we had on the outside linebackers, they could get back. I like the stunning the 2 outside linebackers a lot on first down because we'd end up with a second long and just kind of sit back and, play the ball. And it was great having those 3 good athletes at linebacker.
And, of course, go ahead, Billy.
Well, I was just going to say, that year it never crossed my mind to ever lose any games. Like, even though, like, in that Hancock, was it Hancock? No, it was Hopkins Central when we kicked that field goal in the last second.
Ooh, I don't.
I know,
Yeah,
but it never crossed
I
my
remember.
mind. To be honest with you,
I
that
remember
was ever going to
when-
lose any of those games. Just we played hard and never looked back.
And, we were coming off a pretty tough loss the week prior to that against Marshall County, and Gerald Fuqua was injured in that game and didn't even dress out and play.
Yeah.
And Justin Groom stepped in at tailback for us, had an outstanding night for us. And, he wasn't used to going both ways at that time, and it was early in the season. And I think that game was probably the turning point of our season.
When we first started, like against Russellville, I just thought we weren't very good at that time.
Yeah.
By the time we got to Christian County, then the game, we had really peaked. We had gotten better during the season and was ready for the playoffs.
Well, that Christian County game goes back a ways, doesn't it? And
yeah, I felt like that was when we really came to the top of our game.
And it was over at the Stadium of Champions there, and I remember we ran the throwback.
Yeah.
That Gerald threw to Stewart down there, and we were able to score. And I believe it was the game tied at the time, and that.
I think so.
And what was it, 28-14, wasn't it?
But that was
and that was after Stewart was
21-14.
playing their best wide receiver one-on-one all over the field. I mean, he'd played a heck of a football game that night.
Yeah.
Just going everywhere.
That was the first night I broke my nose that night. We broke it every night from then on to state championship. You know that?
Well, I know you broke something every game. What I remember is when you came up before the game up at the state finals and took my shoes.
Yes. I said, Coach Gates, man, I
what's
can't
that?
wear these shoes.
He said, what size shoe you wear? I said, 11. He said, I can't wear these shoes with cleats on them. And, of course, we had those Ripple Sole coaching shoes. And he said, can I wear your shoes? What was I supposed to say?
Hey, I don't even think I asked. I think you just said, here.
Yeah.
Here, just take them.
You did. And that was very memorable. But
yeah.
It was a very memorable season. And, like Coach Carlin said, we didn't get off to the best of starts. And, we opened up with Russellville, down at Russellville, and somehow
I can remember talking to Chip Hutchinson after that game, and we both agreed. Said, I thought we'd be better than that. But at that time, we just wasn't clicking like we need to. We had a lot of returning players. The year before, you remember, these guys were juniors, and we felt like we should have went to the finals that year.
Yeah.
Went on to Owensboro Catholic beat us there in the last few seconds on a block punt, and just one of those things. In the playoffs, you've got to have some luck. You've got to have the ball going your way.
You do, and of course, the second game I remember was against Marshall County, and we took a pretty good pound in that second half. And of course, back in the 90s, Marshall County were real physical football team. And of course, we ran Gerald quite a bit, I think, the first half, and he got that knee hurt, and he was out for a while, and we wasn't able to have his services. But it just seems like after that loss, we just kind of came together, and especially the very next week against Hopkins County Central, when you start to doubt yourself, and you get in a situation where it looked like we were beaten, but we never gave up. And I think that was the motto that we had throughout the entire season. And especially that game right there showed us we could come from behind. And I'll never forget, Hopkins County Central kept trying to kill the clock, and they kept running backwards, and we kept using our timeouts. And, that they were down around our 20-yard line. And it looked like they were going to score again, but they just kept going backwards and got a rut. I guess they wound up around midfield.
Yeah, you remember that
42
quarterback
41
killed some time. He kept going backwards and backwards, and he was caught for, I think, like a 30-yard loss. That got us in field goal position.
We ran one play, I think. We ran a quick out and got down to about the, 30-yard line or 35.
Kelly hit that sweep spot when he kicked that field goal.
And he did. He said, "Let me kick it." I'll never forget. He said, "Let me kick it, Coach Gates." I said, "That's the only chance we got." So he nailed it right down the middle, and it was just I don't know how to say it, amazing win, and it just seemed like it just kind of lifted us, gave us that lift that we needed throughout the remainder of the year, and of course. We were talking earlier, Larry, you brought up you felt like one of the best teams we defeated in the playoffs was in the second round, Edmonson County.
Edmonson County, yeah. I felt like they were the best team we played in the playoffs until we got to the state finals playing Danville. Of course, Danville they were just tough. Had three good running backs. They had college-sized linemen, but with the kids we had, it didn't make any difference to them.
Well, and of course, all week long, we just kept preaching to the team. Let's just try to keep it close to the fourth quarter. If we felt like we had one advantage, that we were in good physical condition.
Yeah, and if you remember right, they ran that three-back set. They had three really good running backs, and they ran everything. Every film we looked at, they ran everything between tackles. So we brought Stewart up and had like a 5-4 look, and if you look back at the film, everything they scored on was outside on sweep or quick pitch. So we had too much really stacked inside, I thought. That was a lot my fault.
Oh, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, Jeremy Britt, he was like a stump.
He was good.
When you hit him, you knew it.
I think he still holds a lot of records in Kentucky, doesn't he?
I believe so. And, of course, their other running back who was, I think he had a shoulder injury the week prior.
Yeah. And they had the big gray kid, the big fullback. He was a load.
And, on defense, they were solid. They were stout and strong and physical. Linebackers were, exceptionally good high school players.
Well, a lot of those kids going to play college.
And I remember one in particular, one incident on the very first series. We had it fourth and less than a yard. And what do we call? Quarterback sneak. And probably one of our strongest players, Stewart, Childress, and he got driven for like a 3-yard loss, I believe. And I said, "Oh, Lord, this may be a long night."
And I think when we scored right before half, you remember Craig White caught that catch, and that
gave us some momentum.
That changed the momentum. You remember we came out the second half, we pretty well stuffed them.
We did.
We stuffed them, and then got the ball back, and toward the fourth quarter, everything let loose. I think, how many scores in the fourth quarter?
I think we scored 21.
Yeah, and I think they scored
every time we had the ball.
Yeah, I think we were down 11 maybe, and we scored 3 touchdowns. And, of course, everybody looks at different turning points in the game. There were so many.
Yeah, but the one thing, of course, everybody talks about the block punt, but I remember that 3rd and long. You called that pass to Kelly. No, it was 4th and long, wasn't it? It was a 4th down, and you gambled and threw the ball out to Kelly, and he went up over that short defender.
Yes.
And caught the ball. That pretty well sealed the game. That was a gutsy.
And I remember in the huddle when we had a timeout called, and Kelly told me, he said, let Stewart just throw it up to me. He said, I can beat him.
Yeah,
and that's where the trust comes back in your players.
I think that defensive back was like 5'5". He was short, and Kelly just went up over him.
He went up over and made the big catch, and then I think from there, Gerald may have had a run. We had a sweep or something, made 2 or 3 cutbacks, and got it.
Kelly never dropped any balls. He was pretty sure-handed.
Yeah, he was, and of course, we had so many unsung heroes on that team. You know, Evan Wells, you know, solid player at defensive end and tight end, played tight end, and he wasn't real good. You know, real big. Wasn't that big of a player, but he had good hands, and we had
technique. Evans had good technique. You know, he never, like on reverse, you preach all year about not chasing reverse. He stood at home and stuffed them on that reverse toward the end. Then he made another play, and then he intercepted the ball to seal it.
Yeah.
You know, made that interception.
You know, we talked about, key turning points. Of course, I think one of the big momentum shifts was when we called the quarterback draw, and Stewart Childress took it to the house. And, the Brick kid was supposed to be the fastest player in the state. Had the angle on him, but he couldn't catch him. So that was awful big.
And we had really good defensive tackles, I thought. Of course, Kelly Tinsley was just so physical, and Jim Hayes had probably the best reading technique of anybody I ever coached. Never over-penetrated. As soon as that offensive lineman and if you remember the play that stood out to me, I was talking to Tony Franklin after the game. As the first thing he mentioned about
at Bullitt East.
No, when we played Danville.
Danville, okay.
When they ran that quick pitch and that offensive tackle pulled, and Jim Hayes went right in his pocket, got down the line of scrimmage, and those are plays that usually high school linemen don't pick up on. But he was that type of kid.
We did, and we got probably one of not the strength of our team was our offensive line, early in the season, but how they came together toward the end.
And it was a couple of people like.
And we had some, we started 2 sophomores. We started 2 sophomores there with Wes Bug and Kelly Tinsley on the offensive line.
He was a junior.
And double alt, James Bond, and of course Bryan Cortner. It was new to him. He was, of course, a senior, and Billy was a senior, and old Buggy Boo, he battled them from start to finish, and it was just a family atmosphere.
It was, and you remember Kelly Tinsley got the outstanding lineman in that game.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and everybody talked about Fuqua and their lineman, but the best lineman there was from Caldwell County.
He was very special, as well as all of those, young men. We're going to take a short break here and hear from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to talk to Assistant Athletic Director Kim Farmer about tonight festivities before the game. You're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shauna Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Tri-Seas Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton. Life can get messy. At Tri-Seas Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the FiberGuard and LeatherGuard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Tri-Seas Incorporated in Princeton.
Back here at 103.3 FM, the Tiger, for Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. Once again, if you wasn't tuning in earlier, our thoughts and prayers are going out with DT, who's unable to be with us this morning. He's in the hospital in Paducah after having surgery for an appendectomy, and our thoughts and prayers are going out to him. I miss my old sidekick here. I don't have anybody to loosen me up. I got Larry Curley. Larry don't like to tell jokes. DT keeps me loose with all of his jokes, and we want to wish you a speedy recovery, D, and we miss you, and can't wait for you to get back. Joining us now on the show, we've got Assistant Athletic Director Kim Farmer. Kim, I know it's a big game tonight, not only on the field, but off the field as well. Tell us what we got planned for our festivities.
Well, we got a lot going on tonight. Pre-game, we're going to introduce and recognize our one of the junior pro teams. I think it's the 3rd and 4th graders, and the cheerleaders. That's like 76 players starting at 6:40 on that. But starting at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a tent set up by the field house, and we're going to have some refreshments and stuff for the 98 team.
Good. And we talked about earlier, all the members of the team, including the cheerleaders, the managers, the coaches, the players, and their families will be admitted free over by the field house. So we encourage, if any of them are out there listening, to park over by the field house and enter one of the gates next to it, preferably the one by where our dressing room is.
Yes, I will have a list at every gate. If they can't make it on that side for whatever reason, there'll be a pass list for everybody.
And it's kind of going to be like a meet and greet thing that we've organized, and we want to encourage any of the fans to come over to the tent before the game if they'd like, and mingle with the former players and their families. And I know we got several coming in from other places, and
I've heard from all but 7 players.
All but 7 players. That's
all
great.
But 7.
I've been gone this week, so I've really hadn't been around. Kim's taking care of all of it, and we sure appreciate that, Kim. And we know that we've got some food set up. I think there's going to be some finger-type food and refreshments for them, and I know most all the families are going to be represented tonight.
Yes,
and
I know that we have 2 that can't be here for sure, and they're going to have somebody stand in for them. And then Ryan Hodge, we lost Ryan Hodge, and his mom's going to stand in for him. So.
And I was saying earlier, we lost 2 members of that
Yes.
team, Andrew Young and Ryan Hodge both. And, we want their families to feel part of this celebration as well, and we sure do miss them. And, of course, the letter we sent out, we wanted to try to have all families represented. Of course, there wasn't but 35 players on that team total. That included freshmen and all. And I think, what do we have, 12 seniors or 11? 11 seniors. And, pretty much of a senior-dominated class on a roster of 35. But we wanted, all of them to be here. We've got a place roped off. I think you have a place roped off.
We'll have a special section for them to sit together in the stands if they want to.
And the recognition will begin at halftime.
Yes.
And on the field, on the track. Are we going to be on the field?
On the field.
On the field. And
I need the team to assemble down on the track before halftime so that we can go out there. We're going to ask for an extended halftime, but the band still does have to perform afterwards. So.
And I know my managers are coming because I had a daughter that was one of them. She's coming in, and I believe Rebecca Morse.
She was going to try.
Okay, and Misty Jones and Megan Scott.
Yeah, I haven't heard
from
Megan or Misty, but
I had my wife to tell me what their last names are. Of course, I know Meredith's a shoemate, but all of them's got married names now. I still call them what they were in school, so they're going to be there. I know Nacy's got a hold of my daughter. Nacy was a cheerleader on that.
Heard from a few cheerleaders, not a whole lot of them.
I think she said 5 or 6 cheerleaders were going to attend, and
hopefully some more will show up.
So, we're looking for an exciting night, and, of course, the older you get, it's hard to believe it's been 20 years. And, of course, Kim, you worked awful hard with that 1998 team.
That was just such a great year. I mean, the school spirit, the support of the community, the boys, it was just absolutely great. It was probably one of those, after 20-whatever years I've been in the classroom, that was probably one of my most favorite memories.
Magical season.
It was.
And I like to give a shout out to Jill Phelps.
Yes.
Jill, organized those pep rallies. How many pep rallies did we have? And Ramey Patterson and myself did the skit about every Friday, I guess, of the, what was it called? The
Spartan Cheerleaders.
Spartan Cheerleaders. Yeah. And I did my forward roll, toe
I think
touch.
You and I did that a couple of times at a pep rally, too.
But it was, we went around to all the elementary schools, and, it was just an exciting time.
I think y'all went around before each game, playoff game.
Every Friday.
I think every Friday we made our rounds. We
State
did.
championship, it was Thursday, and I ran into that pole. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Primary.
Billy Poe.
Well, Billy was good at that.
Smoked it.
Billy was good at that. But we did. We had just a great time together. And, it was one of those teams that, some teams that when you're not doing as well, you kind of dread going to practice or doing, getting around them in team meetings. But this team here, you couldn't wait for the next day. I know Larry and I, we took turns. We used to make copies of the film. I got to give a shout out to Marty Pressler, our librarian. She, every Monday morning, she came to me and she said, "What can I do to help?" And, of course, back then we had those 8-track tapes, and every player had their own tape, which we didn't. We had film sessions together as a team, but they'd take those tapes home and they'd sit down with their parents and watch them. And, I felt like we knew our opponent better than most teams out there in the state. And Marty Presser was key on doing that, allowing me to use that library. And I can remember, of course, it'd take about, an hour
Yeah, it
better.
was a slow process. Remember, we'd go up there on the weekend, do one, go back home, come back and do another one. Scouting was an all-weekend thing.
Along with washing the uniforms and everything else. So it was a great time.
See, a shout out to Will Brown. Didn't he do all the laundry for the team?
Will Brown did it. Yes, he did.
He's the director of operations.
And Will drove me to the games, and drove me home from the games. We'd ride the bus, so we'd go back and get the copy of the tape made. Of course, now with Huddle that they have online, teams don't have to worry about meeting a coach on Saturday morning and swapping tapes. But Will was very instrumental. Chris Cook, Chris was, very instrumental. He was up top with help of Scott. Neil Cummins, Coach Cummins just did a terrific job. And
Chris was a big help to me. He'd be talking to me when I was doing defense, giving me the formation, down and distance, and anything he's seen.
Doc Rickard, can't leave out my cord carrier, Doc Rickard. Doc was there, and of course, I jerked him around a few times. Wayne McGowan, who's going to be on the show here in a few minutes. Wayne was a youngster back then, 20 years ago, and he just did a great job. You can't say enough about your staff. I mean, they worked, whatever it took. We didn't think about the hours we put in. It just whatever we took. Kim, is there anything else you'd like to tell us that's going on? I know you're busy this time of the year with all the fall sports.
I'm just excited to see all the players return. It's going to be a good night. I wish everybody would come out and see all of them again and hopefully have a little bit of experience again from the 98 season.
Yeah, we sure do. And again, the older you get, the more you appreciate things like that. And
I even drug out those sweatshirt this morning.
She's done. And, I almost put in the letter. If any of them still had their jerseys, wear those jerseys tonight. We gave the jerseys away, didn't we?
Of
course, some of them.
We got yellow, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, we got the yellow ones.
Didn't you love the all yellow uniforms?
Oh, yeah. You remember Tri-Shoes provided us with all those uniforms going up to the state championship.
Never forget, Dan, Lucinda, the people at Tri-Shoes, he got us the sweats. And Willie and I, Brown, got there early, and we had them laid out for the team. So when they walked in, I'll never forget walking in Cardinal Stadium there in Louisville, and someone mentioned last week about the Mayfield. We walked right in front of the Mayfield fans and how they gave us a standing ovation. And, of course, that was a bitter rival for us.
Yeah.
And
they were playing that first game and got beat.
Yeah, they did.
Well, it wasn't so much a rival for me and Billy, though. We never played Mayfield.
Yeah.
But it was a great feeling, to walk in there and they give us a standing ovation. It was great.
Sue Mama Sims wearing the tiger suit in the hot and sweat that day at Cardinal Stadium.
Sue Mama. Johnny Jagger's running the flag up and down the sideline,
If you remember, that the temperature was 78 degrees that day.
It was hot.
That was December. That was the highest recorded temperature in the state. 78. That was the highest recorded temperature in the month of December, and we just happened to fall on that day. And it was to our benefit.
Yeah. And it showed in the fourth quarter, didn't it?
Yeah. I remember the walkthrough the day before.
In the parking lot.
No, it's on the field. We did a walkthrough, and I think it was St. X behind us, and we was doing our last kickoff.
Trinity.
Was it Trinity?
I believe it was.
I remember them looking at us.
They want to know where the rest of the team
is. Yeah, who's that?
I'll never forget. Yeah, we were walking off, and they were coming on, and they said, "Where's the rest of the team? Is that just your special teams?" We had 35 players out there, So that very memorable, very memorable.
I do want to recognize those seniors: Austin Bowes, Bryan Cortner, Stewart, Childress, Justin Grooms, Gerald Fuqua, Jason Fond, Billy Hooks, Jim Hayes, Kelly Davis, Evans Wells, and Craig White.
Outstanding group.
And it's just an honor to take the field with them.
It sure was. And it's something that memories will last a lifetime. And, I think you appreciate them more now, the older you get, than you do back when it actually transpires. And just the community support. I'll never forget running out on that field and that whole side of Cardinal Stadium, and we were on the big side, was just packed. And the ones that wasn't from Princeton and Caldwell, I think were pulling for us from the other towns and cities that was there to watch. And
well, if you remember Bullitt East, we had a bigger crowd than the home team.
We did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll never forget that too. When at the beginning of the game, when they turned the lights out and the smoke and all that, and our pep buses was just getting there. And I mean, I was trying to calm our team down. They were going nuts, and it was an exciting time and an exciting period. And
even in the gym after the championship, when we had the award ceremony, it was like graduation. People were everywhere in that gym. It was just a great community support.
Yeah. And when the game ended, it was like, what do we do now? We don't have another game to play. We were looking around.
This community has always supported its young people, as long as I've been here, and they always will. Probably one of the best communities you'll find doing that.
And, of course, we all got state championship rings.
Some of us did.
Some of them got necklaces, I think. But, we got state championship rings, which were done by community donations.
Don't bring that up again, she said.
Oh, bad. Of course, I don't wear any jewelry, so, but I still got mine in a lockbox, and hopefully my Well, anyway, it's still sentimental value, and we appreciate that. And it's just a great time. Kim, anything else before we take another short break?
No, just look forward to seeing everybody tonight.
We hope to have a call-in guest here in a short time. So we're going to take another short break and listen from our sponsors. You're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the FiberGuard and LeatherGuard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton. There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shauna Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton. At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Hughes Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Hughes Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. Life can get messy. At Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the FiberGuard and LeatherGuard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Trice Hughes Incorporated in Princeton.
Back here at 103.3 FM, The Tiger, for Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. Once again, DT is unable to be with us this morning, and our thoughts and prayers are with you, brother. On a speedy recovery there. He's in the hospital in Paducah and recovering from an emergency appendectomy, and we hope all goes well, brother. Joining us now, we have a guest not unfamiliar to any of you guys. We got on the phone with us Stewart Childress. Stewart's on his way home for the celebration tonight, and Stewart, welcome to the show.
Coach, it's great to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
I got a couple of years old sidekicks here with us in studio this morning. We got Billy Hooks and Bryan Cortner, and along with the man, Larry Curlin. Larry's filling in for DT. I don't know if you're aware, but Dennis had emergency surgery on Sunday, and he's recovering from an appendectomy. But Larry's filling in and just doing a terrific job.
Oh, I bet he has. I didn't know that about Coach Tomic, but I do hope he gets well soon. But man, that's a good group of guys you got there in the studio. I can't wait to see those guys later tonight.
Hey, love you, buddy.
Love you guys too, man.
You don't know who that was, do you?
Who was that?
That was Hooks. All right, Billy, talk to him.
What's going on, man? You on your way here?
Yeah, we left last night. We stopped over in Little Rock, and we're about to get in the car in a little bit. So we'll be there in Princeton this afternoon, and man, we can't wait to see everybody. We're really excited to get back and see everybody and celebrate and watch a good football game tonight. So I'm glad this is happening this weekend.
Great. Hey, I do have one shout-out to give to somebody that we hadn't mentioned that was very crucial on that team. Was Zach Barnes.
Zach, that's right.
Yeah.
We can't leave Zach out.
Hey, yeah, we were talking earlier about these guys that did the pivotal points
Right.
and really helped out. And he's,
You know, he really
he's one of
stepped
them.
up when Jason Thorne was injured.
Right.
And, you know, Zach started at linebacker when Jason turned his ankle against Bullitt East. And, you know, you hate an injury for any person in particular. Of course, Jason was so valuable to us, not just on offense and defense, but long snapping. And, you know, I remember at halftime he was wanting to get dressed because he wasn't contributing. And I said, no, you're not getting dressed. You're staying right here on this sideline with us, and because we might need you. And we did need him. And, you know, that was the thing. I said, you're not going to abandon your teammates right now. I said, hey, you got that uniform on, and we're going to keep it on. So it was very special. And Stewart, tell us a little bit. You know, we know now you're living in Texas, and you know, kind of update us on your job situation and family situation. I know you've gotten a new addition to your family as well, and I know we want to give a shout out to his mom and dad. You know, Gary and Pam. They were very instrumental in that season. Of course, we got fed just like the team gets fed now. But you know, Dog, he cooked for us, no telling how many weekends, and you know, and a lot of that they don't get credit, and we want to give credit where it's due, and we want to give a shout out to them as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think that goes for all of our families. I mean, I feel like almost everybody else on that team, their parents were, you know, kind of like an aunt and uncle to me. You know, I think that's kind of how we all felt, and we're very thankful for all of our families and how they contributed and supported us all the way through, and they still do. And so it's going to be fun to see everybody this weekend. And yeah, we did have a little baby boy this summer, so we have 4 kids now, and we are doing well. Oh yeah, so
you got about as many kids as I've got grandkids.
So yeah, our hands are full. We're thankful, we're excited, and yeah, we live in Texas, in Denton, Texas, just north of Dallas. Been there for a little over 7 years, and I'm the regional director of a college ministry called Campus Outreach. So, been doing that for 14 years overall. You know, as most people know, spent the first 7 years in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Now down in Denton, Texas. So we're doing great. We're really thankful and happy where we're at.
Of course, you're a Murray State alumni as well. And, you know, Murray State's got a big football game this weekend. And I think you can kind of relate back in your playing days of going to Lexington and participating in against UK.
Yes, that's right. They do got those guys this weekend. Yeah, I remember going up there, playing UK, and just getting to be a part of that environment. That was special. You know, grew up watching Kentucky as a kid, and to get to go to that stadium and play was fun. So I wish the Racers well today. I know Kentucky had a big win last week against Florida. You know, they hadn't beat those guys in 31 years, so they definitely got a lot of momentum right now.
And you're also working with the football team, correct, at North Texas State?
Not as much as I once did. I've kind of brought another guy in to be the team chaplain for North Texas. I'm still loosely connected to the football team, but I've really turned a lot of things over to this younger guy who's just doing a tremendous job for us over there, being the chaplain for the football team. They love him, and it was just, I think, the right move with some of my added responsibilities as the director of our ministry. I just couldn't get over there as much as I'd like to, but man, he's really stepped in and taken the reins.
Any of you guys got any questions you'd like to ask Stewart? Talk to him, Larry.
Hey, Stewart, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Coach. How are you?
Doing good.
Can you believe we got him on the radio, Stewart?
I can believe it, man. And I'm sure he's doing a good job.
He is doing a great job. You remember all those years on the Saturday morning quarterback, we tried to get Larry to come, and he never would come.
He wouldn't let me come, Stewart. I tried. You remember I was trading film. Hey, Stewart, I just want to say I was always proud of what you did on the football field, but to be honest with you, I'm more proud of what you're doing off the football field.
Well, thanks, Coach. I appreciate that. Thank you.
4 kids. All right, you got any boys?
2, I believe.
I had a hard time hearing the question.
Have you got any boys?
Yeah, we got 2 girls and 2 boys.
All right.
So we got a 6-year-old girl, 4-year-old boy, 2-year-old girl, and now we just got about a 2.5-month-old boy here.
You have your hands full. Good luck.
We got our hands full, man. We're set. We're ready to go. You're going to get to meet them all.
All right. I'll see you tonight, buddy.
We can't wait.
They're pumped about the football game now. I'm telling them we're going to watch a football game and be on the field, and they're pretty excited about that.
That's great. That's great. Brian, you got anything? Brian Cortner?
I'm just ready to see you, Stu.
Heck yeah, man. I'm ready to see you too, bro.
Well, I know there's several of them that can't make it, Stewart, but, I did talk to Kelly Davis. Kelly, had some arrangements that he couldn't be able to be here, and, there's a few. I think Joe Dan Talley at one time, we hadn't really mentioned Joe Dan a whole lot either, and he was another young man. He was a sophomore that was very instrumental, played in the secondary for us, and I can remember the one tackle he made.
Oh, yeah,
He drug him out. He just said, "Hold on." He held on. Help's on its way. Yeah, their big tight end, I believe.
He's about 6'7".
He was about 6'7".
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He was dragging him, but help was on the way, and I think you were one of them that helped bring him down. So it was a magical season, and it just seems like everything just came together, and we were just a team of destiny. It just seemed like deja vu all over again. And, we're going to be able to relive those memories again this weekend. I can't wait to see all the your teammates and everyone that's going to be gathering tonight, see how much we've all changed. I've gotten old and decrepit.
Hey,
we all gotten old, haven't we?
I know we have. I was thumbing around in one of our closets and found a couple of old VHS tapes of a couple of those games, and I was watching some of them, obviously the state game, and then in the playoffs, I think we played Edmonson County, and they're a good football team, and I started watching some of those games on the old VCR, and man, it was just fun to relive that 98 season, and I agree with you guys. We came together and played as a team, and it was just every week we started believing that, man, we can do this. Anybody that we play, we have the opportunity to beat, and it just all came together. So even watching some of that old film, and then I know tonight seeing everybody, it's just going to be fun to relive those memories and just celebrate the team we had back in '98.
Well, Stewart, we can't wait to see you, brother, and we want to wish you and your family safe travels home. I know your mom and dad are excited about you coming in, not just to see you, but those grandkids. As a grandparent now, I can say that. I'm excited to see my daughter, Meredith, and her 3. I hadn't seen here in about 4 to 5 weeks, and, those times you cherish together. And, of course, we're fixing to have another edition here pretty soon, and I know Taylor, if she's listening, she's probably out there listening at the school and shouldn't be, but she's wanting to have that baby this weekend, so Meredith don't have to turn around. I think she's got another week to go, but she's expecting any time. And
oh, man, congratulations.
Well, thank you. And it's going to be, I think, another boy, so we're catching up.
Okay.
4 granddaughters, and this will be number 3 grandson, so
awesome.
We're excited about it, and we just got to make more room for them.
Okay.
Well, Stewart, we appreciate you calling in, brother, and we want to, encourage everyone to get to the game early tonight, to come down and visit with us at the tent. It's going to be over by the field house, and get to reminisce a little bit with all the 1998 team, and appreciate Stewart Childress calling in and want to wish him and his family a safe trip.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see y'all this evening.
Okay.
See you tonight, buddy.
See you, Stewart.
Okay.
We're going to take another short break and hear from our sponsors. And you're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
There aren't many places you can buy a vehicle where the sales team has combined experience of over 103 years. At Trice Incorporated in Princeton, we would love you to meet our friendly and experienced sales staff. Brent Ladd, a Princeton native, has been selling cars here for 20 years. Tommy Harrison, native of Fredonia with ties in Princeton and Lyon County, 13 years. Lee Hughes, Trice's grandson, has been here for 9 years. Brian Croft from Crittenden County, 8 years. Glenn Gray, another of Trice's grandsons, 3 years. And the newest addition to our sales team, Jared Singleton, originally from Marion, now living in Princeton. Our sales manager, Trent Burton, has racked up 30 years in the car business, and our finance director, Shauna Jaggers, with 20 years in auto finance. Shop where experience counts. Trice Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton. At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton.
Something big just dropped at McDonald's. In fact, it's so big we think it's worthy of a beat drop. The 2 for $5 mix and match deal at McDonald's, featuring an all-time greatest hits lineup. The Big Mac, filet of fish, 10-piece chicken McNuggets, and the classic chicken sandwich. Choose any 2 favorites for just $5. There you have it. The 2 for $5 mix and match deal at McDonald's has officially dropped. Participating McDonald's. Limited time offer. Single item at regular price.
At first glance, you may think we are only here to sell and service your vehicle, but did you know that Trice Incorporated also wants to buy your vehicle? You heard right. If you're currently trying to sell your vehicle, stop by for a fast and free appraisal. A clean title in hand will have you leaving with a check in just a matter of minutes. Still making payments on your vehicle? That's no problem either. We can guide you in that process also. Contact a salesperson today at 270-365-5522 or stop in Trice Incorporated today, 111 Highway 91 North in Princeton. Life can get messy. At Trice Incorporated in Princeton, we've got you covered. Introducing PermaPlate, the interior and exterior protection designed to keep your vehicle looking new. Inside your vehicle, the FiberGuard and LeatherGuard provides maximum protection from oil and water-based stains and odors caused by spills, rips, tears, and burns. The exterior of your vehicle is protected by PermaPlate's Paint Guard, which provides an armor against bugs, bird droppings, tree sap, sun damage, fading, and oxidation, and hard water stains. And PermaPlate's warranty is second to none. Should cover damage occur to your vehicle, they will repair or replace the damaged area at no cost. PermaPlate now available only at Trice Incorporated in Princeton.
Something big just dropped at McDonald's. In fact, it's so big we think it's worthy of a beat drop. The 2 for $5 mix and match deal at McDonald's, featuring an all-time greatest hits lineup. The Big Mac, filet of fish, 10-piece chicken McNuggets, and the classic chicken sandwich. Choose any 2 favorites for just $5. There you have it. The 2 for $5 mix and match deal at McDonald's has officially dropped. At participating McDonald's, limited time offer, single item at regular price.
Back here at 103.3 FM, The Tiger, for Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. And once again, we want DT to know he's in our thoughts and prayers as he's recovering in the hospital at Paducah. And we want to wish him a speedy recovery and want him back in here with me as soon as possible. Want to give a big shout out to all of our guests this morning that came in celebration of the 1998 Class 2A state championship team. Bryan Cortner and Billy Hooks, along with Coach Larry Curlin. And I appreciate them guys, as well as Stewart Childress calling in and sharing some time with us on his way. I believe he spent the night in Little Rock, Arkansas last night, and he's traveling a lot of miles to come in. And I've been joined right now in the studio with Coach Wayne McGowan and the head football coach at Caldwell County, Coach David Barnes. Thank you guys for coming in this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I've kind of thrown this together at the last minute. I've been gone all week, and trying to get adjusted back to the time change more than anything. So I wasn't very well prepared, but I never am. So I'm better off just trying to throw it together. But appreciate you guys. And, of course, Wayne, you was a big part of that 1998 team, and I know you're looking forward to seeing a lot of those team members as well.
Exactly. And before we start, I do want to say, Coach Tomic, speedy recovery, my man, get well, and, all that good stuff. And I texted him the other day, and a few hours later I got a text back, and it was actually Lindsay texting me.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of, I thought, well, he must not be feeling well.
Well, Lindsay was in Chicago working, and she was able to fly down to Paducah and be with her dad. And, we kind of text back and forth, and she actually spent a couple of nights with my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, Debbie and Rodney Bashon. So, it's good having a brother-in-law down there to keep a check on DT and all. And I'm going to go see him here as soon as he's ready. I don't want to go until he's ready because I know how it feels in the hospital when you don't want any company. But, DT was a big part of that team. He was up top. Even though he wasn't actually on the staff, we conversed. He knew everything that was going on, and, he kind of kept me calm as well.
Yeah. he did.
And, we want to wish him the speedy recovery.
But getting to the 98 team, seeing these couple gentlemen who just walked out of here, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm hearing you guys talk, and I don't know, maybe somebody needs to write a book or something. And that was very special. And, you can have numerous chapters in this book of that team and, the preparation leading up to that team, with that team in that year. A lot of these guys were 2 or 3 sport athletes, and the thing I remember is in the winter, those baseball players who were football players, those guys were in the weight room with Coach Cummins.
At 5:30 in the morning.
5:30 in the morning, frost on the windows, and bringing those kids in, and I think that's where the seed was planted for that team because those guys got after it in that weight room, and they didn't have to get up at 5:30, but they did, and they dedicated themselves to it, and that's just a testament to the gentlemen who were on that particular team. Of course, the teams prior to that were teams who helped them get there, and those kids need to be commended as well. But those kids, that off season was super, and those kids bought in. They worked their tails off, and they knew they were close. They knew we were close to my first year was '97, so. We knew we were close in '97, and we had a good core of that team coming back as well. So those kids dedicated themselves, and the end result and their reward was a state championship.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said our off-season conditioning program. When you only have 35 players on a team, how vital your strength and conditioning, and Neil Cummins just did an outstanding job. I mean, he had those kids prepared for the long haul.
He did.
And even though we didn't get off to a great start,
yeah, I know it.
We didn't. We won some ugly games, you want to say they were ugly, but we didn't get off to a great start. But you could see us getting stronger down the stretch.
Yes.
And he carried that weight program throughout the season.
He did.
And they kept coming in the mornings. And
did.
You mentioned most of them played basketball. Terry Birdsong was the basketball coach at the time.
He sure was.
And they played baseball and, or ran track. And they were more than one sport affiliated. And, they were a hard-working bunch of young men. And, we were very blessed to be part of something like that.
We were. And it was a great ride. The journey was great. Like I said, it was just my second year of coaching. And I was like, coming off '97 season, we played some good ball that year and had a great season, I thought, and then to win this thing, I thought, well, man, this stuff's pretty good. It's pretty easy.
And we had a lot of role people.
We did.
We hadn't really harped a lot on the younger players that contributed.
I know it.
Like Zach Barnes,
I know it.
Joe Dan Talley, of course Kelly Tinsley, Wes Bug. Another one, Bubby Puckett.
Yeah.
Bubby stepped in there and played some vital minutes for us. And a lot of the specialty, Austin Bowes.
Yes.
You know, Austin was a senior that year, and he didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but he was on our special teams.
And he was constant on our special teams. You know, he was reliable, and we knew what we would get out of Austin. And you know, the other names you mentioned was sophomore kids. You know, Joe Dannon was a sophomore, played corner. And if you remember, we played a lot of man-to-man that year.
We did.
You know, Stewart being at quarter, DB, and quarterback and punter, and
never came off the field.
That's what I'm saying. And we played.
Most of them didn't come off the field.
I know it. We played tons of man. And Joe did a great job back there, and Wes did a great job. And I remember those kids running the plays in and out, and you know, Kelly being a young player, but Kelly was ahead of being a sophomore as a player. You know. He dominated.
He was.
He dominated as a freshman. You know, as soon as freshman season started, he dominated. But it's just so many, and you know, you have the
you talked about our kicking game.
Kicking game.
You know,
oh yeah, that's huge.
And of course,
big time.
You was a special teams guy.
Special teams
he was my special teams coordinator, and you know, we had good long snappers. We had good. You know, we didn't make very many mistakes in the kicking game.
We're pretty sound,
and the way Stewart could punt, and Kelly Davis kicking. I mean, you can't say enough. And they, you know, they didn't get a lot of practice.
No, they didn't.
In those areas.
They didn't. They really didn't. Those kids were just so talented and dedicated to you know, when it comes down to the special team stuff, they were just on that stuff. You know, they had great kickers, had good punters, and you know, the Hopkins Central game, I think that was the catapult that lifted us to where we ended up with us winning that thing at the end of the game like that, with Kelly kicking the 42-yard field goal, and you know, that was it, man. After that, you know, I think the belief set in, and you know, and I tell you what else, you know, we trusted each other. Those kids trusted each other.
Trust.
They played for each other. You know, if you want to talk about family, those kids are a family and were a family then. And, you know, those little things like that you must have to be a state championship quality team. And we had those qualities in those young men.
And, you know, I've been asked on numerous occasions to describe this team in one adjective. And the one I come up with, unselfish.
Very much so.
Very unselfish group. And they didn't care who got the notoriety. Of course, we had some big name players. You know, you got a Stewart Childress. You got a Gerald Fuqua. You know, Justin Grooms. You know. By the way, I did talk to Justin. He was coming in from California, and he texted me and told me we thought we were going to be on the same flight because he was going to try to come in on Thursday. And he was going to have a connecting flight in Las Vegas where I've been, and we thought we were going to be able to come to Nashville together, but his CEO changed his schedule around, and he wasn't able to make it, but he wanted me to tell everyone that he wished he could have gotten here. But, you know, we've got them everywhere. Evan Wells is in, I think Evans is down in Ole Miss, Oxford, Mississippi. I hadn't heard back from him, but maybe Kim has. But there's others that are, Jim Hayes, I think, is in Lexington. And, you know, I know some schedules. They all can't make it, but
Jim's going to be here.
Is Jim going to be here?
Yeah, Bob said he'd be here.
Good. Bob. I saw Bob last night at the softball game, forgot to ask him. And, you know, so we're looking forward to all of them coming in. And what a great group of young men. And, you know, and we're going to see a great football game tonight, too. We got the Henderson County Colonels coming in. And Coach Barnes, how's practice been this week? Coming off a big win last week over the Crittenden County Rockets here in Tiger Stadium. And I know the kids have got to be excited.
Yeah, it's been a good week of preparation. You know, Monday we didn't have a JV game, so it gave us a little bit more time to spend on film. And we went out, we watched some film, went out and practice, came back with the varsity and watched some more film, and felt like we had a really good week of preparation.
Good deal. Everybody seemed to be healthy and ready to go.
Everybody's in good shape.
Everybody's in good shape. And tell us a little bit about Henderson County. What are we?
You know, this will be our fourth year of playing them, and this will be the last time with the way the schedule sets up for the next few years. You know, we've been fortunate to be able to get 3 wins against a very good football team. Josh Boston took over that program, I guess, 2 years ago, and has done a really phenomenal job with it. And they don't have the big running back they had last year, but he's got the same quarterback, the Patterson boy, who's a very good football player and also a very good baseball player. He pretty much runs their offense, and they got a little bitty running back there, but he can fly. About 150 pounds, 5'5" kid, but runs the ball well. And they give you a lot of it's not really a wing T offense, but it's got a lot of wing T characteristics to it. And they're going to run the football, and the kid will throw a little bit. And defensively, the 3 down linemen are really good. They get the football well, and they got quite a few seniors on that football team.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about them except by looking at who they've played, and I do know they beat a good Gibson Southern team out of Fort Branch, Indiana last week, and I don't think Fort Branch has lost a regular season game in the last 3 years.
They haven't.
And they've played in the state semifinals, and I think one year the finals, and of course, that's one of my customers up there in Southern Indiana, and I do know they're a good football team.
I know Gibson Southern played a good friend of mine, John Edge, who's at South Spencer now.
Yes.
And they put up 80 against John, but John's rebuilding that program there. We watched film on Gibson Southern, and Gibson Southern's not as good as they were the last 2 or 3 years, but they're a very good football team. And
Evansville Wrights is another good football team there in the Evansville area, and they got beat, I think, by
that was their opening
close game.
Yes,
it was a close game. So,
but this is our last game before we go into playoffs, and the playoff games are the ones that really count. And we need to go out tonight and have a good night, fix some things. The stupid stuff that we're doing. Getting the stupid penalties, stopping drives, those things we got to eliminate.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I know everyone in the community is. This the 3rd game of a 3-game homestand that we've had here in Tiger Stadium. So,
and we've had a great turnout. We had a great turnout last week.
What a great crowd last week against Crittenden County.
Crittenden started getting here like at 6 o'clock, and they were 4 deep on the track, and it was just a great atmosphere.
It was, and it was a great game to watch. I mean, of course, anytime the Tigers win, it's great. But, Crittenden County's going to win a lot of football games this year.
They're a good group of kids.
And, and it was exemplified last week. And, for 3 quarters, it was nip and tuck. And we kind of took over there in the 4th quarter and got a little cushion on our lead there and came away with a big win.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we sure do appreciate it. There's another guy I want to give a shout-out to. We've been talking mostly this show about the 1998 team. And, of course, I had the opportunity to meet Bill Booth here, who's going to be doing the morning show, I believe, for Dakota here in the next week. And Tom Rogers, our old buddy Tom Rogers, who still works at WKDZ. I told Bill I wish he was able to come in this morning and relive some of those memories, because he did all of our play-by-play, our weekly shows, our Saturday morning quarterback. And
he texted me yesterday that 98 was his first year to be here and to cover the Tigers, and he said his team, he wanted me to make sure I said something about the team, to the 98 team, how much he appreciated being a part of that team, and being the first year to win a state championship means a lot to him.
Well, Tom, if you're out there listening, brother, I know you're calling the Fort Campbell games this year, and you're probably unable to attend tonight, but I didn't want to leave you out. I'm thinking about you, and I know when we play Fort Campbell, I'll probably see you then, but you're going to be on the other side of the mic and not on our side. But Tom, he was very pivotal, along with Bridgie Miller. Bridgie was helping him do the color, and one other person I got to bring up, Frankie Bryan.
Oh, yeah, Frankie.
Frankie, our PA announcer. What an outstanding, he's my guy now. And, he's the one that got everyone excited and continues to do so, even after all these years of retiring.
Still does, yeah.
If you see Frankie Bryan, you need to give him a pat on the back. And, of course, I know he's going to have some stuff cooked up for us at halftime, and he may bring back a memory or two.
You mentioned Johnny Stone, too.
Johnny Stone. How long's Johnny been?
About almost 50. 50 years.
All the support people, our chain crew.
Yeah.
I think back of some of the people, Dick Tucker, Jerry Perkins is,
still doing it.
To Philip Sisk and Fred Foltz and Donald McGregor's and Free Baby.
How about Free Baby?
Free Baby.
Freezing outside.
Hey, we got to give Free Baby some love, too. He brought Kentucky. He was at the UK game at Florida. And, I mentioned as we ended the show last week that will the streak end?
Yeah.
And it ended.
It ended.
I'll take credit for that.
There
No,
you
I
go,
felt,
you got it.
I
You need to
did
coin-
feel.
you need to coin that
I
phrase.
didn't know if they could beat Florida at Florida, but I thought that they were going to play them awful tough.
I didn't see the whole game, but man, they played really well. I thought
They really did, and
good for
I
those
think
kids.
Cray Lewis and Brian Conger and Free Baby and Wes Tomic, all four went to the game at Gainesville, and they were part of history.
Yes, they were.
You know, that was part of history, and you know, we want to give them a big shout out for bringing the Big Blue through.
Let me say something about that 98 team. The thing that stood out to me in that 98 game was Jason Fong got hurt at linebacker, and Zach Barnes came in and played, in my opinion, played a phenomenal game. But the kid that really that I was impressed with was Kelly Tinsley. He went up against Josh Jaggers that night and had a heck of a football game. And I never will forget the next day, I was at the game the next day, and Marty Jaggers comes down and sits down beside me and says, "We play them 9 times, we beat them. If we play them 10 times, we beat Colorado 9 out of 10. I said, "They won the one that counted." And, you know, but it was a great game, and you know, it was just to see how many people from our community was at that game. And I was at Davis County at that time, but I never will forget. I was on an elevator with Joker Phillips. And y'all stayed at the old executive there, and, that place was wild.
Yeah.
And Joker looked at me and said, "If I was Coach Gates," he said, "I'd have never kept my team here." And you know, so when we went in 2012 in Bowling, you know, you had your own motel, you weren't with another bunch of people, and that was a lot better.
Yeah.
But that was wild. That place was wild. But that was a great experience in '98, and meant a lot to this community. So it's good that these kids are coming back tonight, and if any of those guys want to come in and say something to our football team, we'd more than welcome that tonight.
Well, I'm sure some of them probably will want to, and you know, coming from them would be very special, especially for the night's game. And they were a great bunch, and you know, they attention to detail is what they were very attentive, and they did what we asked them to do, and you know, all the people we've mentioned. I mean, there's so many. I mean, you can't do it by yourself. It takes everybody.
I know it.
And you know, you mentioned, you know, Danville and the Princeton connection with Marty. Of course, Marty and I played football together at Western, and we've coached against one another. And you know, Josh was an outstanding player. You know, we mentioned Nathan Fuqua. You know, being a good. Josh Jaggers was an outstanding tackle. Of course, he went on to sign with UK, I believe, and Nathan Fuqua played at Wofford.
Still at Wofford.
I ran into him on the road at Franklin Simpson a couple years ago. He was the defensive coordinator at Wofford. I think he's the defensive coordinator now at Georgia Tech.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's really moved up the ranks now. So, and every time we see each other, we bring. Of course, I had the opportunity to coach him in the Kentucky-Tennessee All-Star game, and just an outstanding young man. And of course, they had an outstanding team. I can remember when we took the field; it looked like a college team we were up against. You know, they ran out for a 2A school. I think they had probably 75 kids out
big
there.
Kids all over the team, all over that team. Mention some of those kids. I remember the numbers. The grade kid, that big old rascal, man. That dude was just tall and lanky. And
he was the one Joe Dan had a hold of.
Dragging him, wasn't he? Drag him, hold him, Joe, hold him. Yeah, that was good.
Well, the good Lord was with us.
Yes, sir.
You know, and
a lot of breaks
and
a
our
lot
kids
of luck.
never quit believing.
Yeah,
it was just a total team and community.
It was. The community was excellent. Parades and all those sorts of things. So yeah.
Another good thing about that team was how many of those kids played other sports, and it just shows you that you win a state championship and play multiple sports, and that's just a great high school experience for to be able to do that. And you know, we're in a time of day where the people think you got to concentrate on one, and they're a prime example that you can do it.
You can, and you hit the nail on the head. Plus, they worked their schedule around off-season training, and I mean. There was so much asked of them, and that they gave, and that's why I say they were so unselfish. They had one goal in mind, and you know they were just one win away from winning the regional basketball.
I know it.
You know, I think Henderson County beat us
double overtime. Was at 1 point,
and you know we had a real. They didn't get off to a real good start, just like we did in football.
Slow start,
you know,
they got better.
They got better as the season went on, and
when it came playing football, they got a late start.
They didn't get them until middle part of December.
We had Gerald and Stewart,
Kelly.
They didn't get in playing conditions about
Zach.
January.
Zach
Yeah.
played.
Oh, yeah. We had.
I don't think Justin played basketball, did he? Did Justin play?
I think Justin played early.
Okay. I don't think he played as a senior.
Right.
But I can't.
And, one of the things we didn't have very many injuries to deal with.
Yeah, we're fortunate on that end.
Yeah.
We're fortunate on that
I just
end.
saw
Other
one-
than Jason turned his ankle up Bullet East, that year.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Jason, and I think Justin may have been hurt
early
a little bit.
with that
and
knee. Other than that, we were good.
we were pretty healthy
Yes,
throughout
we
the
were.
season
Yes,
and
we
very
were.
blessed. I saw another one of my big supporters just drive by, Roley Fortner.
Roley,
Coach
yeah.
Roley. If I didn't have his Saturday morning talks
Right.
and Friday night after the game talks, I probably wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
And between him and Dan Hughes, of course,
Yeah.
I had a lot of help.
Yeah.
And, but you can't say enough about those people.
Right.
I mean,
right.
they were so supportive.
Exactly.
And anything we wanted, we would get. They found a way to
they
get it.
treated us really well.
And
they really did.
I remember those good banana puddings.
Oh, yeah. Golly.
That was from Stewart's grandmother.
That was good stuff.
Oh, Lord.
That was a heck of a year now.
It was.
A lot,
It
to,
really
lot
was.
to talk about, and these guys will have they'll have a great night tonight. It'll be exciting and
In a good game.
Yeah, good game on tap. So it's going to be a lot of buzz out there at Tiger Stadium tonight.
One last thing.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with the 98 team our game, but we had a young man that played for us, Jalen Boyd, at Lindsey Wilson, who came out last week and had 96 yards rushing and scored a touchdown and is having a really good year so far at Lindsey. And we're so proud that he got back up there involved in that, and he's going to have a great college career, I think.
I saw that. Anytime
do
that.
well, I think.
And let me tell you this, too. And I know we've gone over big time. I was worried about having enough to fill the show. I ran into who used to be the equipment manager at Purdue University.
Oh, really?
He's a sales rep. I roomed with him in Las
Okay.
Vegas. He's one of our sales rep, and he lives there. And he was updating me on Elijah Sindelar.
Yeah.
And I got some breaking news. Elijah's going to be the starting quarterback from his. He
Right.
said that Coach Bryan is going to go with him.
Right.
And,
good.
and
That's
he
good.
says that he gives them the best opportunity to win, and
Good. That's
it's
good
good
to
to
know.
hear from
Keep
on that end of it. I know he didn't start the game last week, but he
Right.
finished it.
Right.
Elijah's the type of kid, I think he has a hard time, when you split time with quarterbacks, it's sometimes hard to get in the flow of a game. And, Elijah's one of those kids that needs to get in the flow. But I can tell you this, he did it for years, and continue. He's still going to throw that deep ball down the middle of the field.
Yeah.
You might as well get ready for it.
Tim Quinn was the guy's name. I want to give a
Tim
shout
Quinn.
out to Tim Quinn. He still helps them on the home games
Oh,
on
okay.
Saturdays.
Good deal.
He's up
Good
in
deal.
some type of media communications, and he fills me in on Elijah, and he always says Elijah says hello.
Oh,
So
good.
it's good to know. And we want to wish D. Kane the best of luck
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
They go and play Louisville. Western plays at Louisville this weekend, and all of you former Caldwell County graduates that are playing on the next level, we want to wish all of you the best of luck.
One other thing before we do go, I just want to congratulate you, Coach Gates, with that team and as well as your team at Crittenden. To win 2 state championships, that's a lot to be said. Won a bunch of ball games here, and you were like a father to me. And a lot of people may or may not know this, but you really helped me through some tough times when I was at Murray, and we know what that's about. But I just want to, give you a shout out and just let people know how good of a guy you are and a family man, and you always told us to do right by our families, and that's kind of a motto I live by with my family and my boys growing up. So I just want to commend you while I have this opportunity and say congratulations on all the success you had on and off the field, and thank you for everything you've done for me personally, and as well as all the young men you've coached and mentored throughout your years of education and coaching.
You're not supposed to do it. I don't want any credit. Hey, it's people like you that,
Well, thank you.
make my job a lot easier.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank everybody that helped me.
Yeah. It was
and
a joy.
Coach Barnes is the same way. I know how he feels.
Yeah.
You stay in the business as long as we have, when somebody calls you coach,
Yeah. Means a lot.
means a lot.
You're always
Sure
coaches
does.
to me. Y'all, all my coaches are always coaches to me.
And I've just had great support.
Yeah.
And I mean, from all of my assistant coaches
Right.
to all my players, my managers,
Mm-hmm.
anybody that lives I've come in contact with
Right.
deserves a lot more credit than me.
Yeah. Well,
And
You deserve credit.
and my family,
Mhm.
you know, to put up with me
Yeah.
through all those times. I mean, it wasn't easy.
Yeah, I understand. So,
And,
that's my wife and kids too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Your wife
We
and
all
kids
know.
suffer, and you know I love my family so much,
Oh,
and
yeah.
my wife has
Oh, yeah.
just been so supportive, and
Exactly.
I know she still gets loud at the games. And
That's
you know
good.
it's different now sitting up in the bleachers
Oh, I bet.
than it was. And
I bet it is.
you know, you got to give a shout out to all you coaches and you wives
Yeah,
and
the wives
family members,
especially, yeah,
because
families.
it's not easy. And
Exactly.
you know,
One last shout out.
All right, one more.
Todd Griffin, you know,
Oh,
the
Lord.
job he does for us and covering
Chip
all-
Hutchison, and you know back then Chip and Todd
Mm-hmm.
that covered us. You can't say enough. Twyman Bourne.
Joy Randolph.
Oh.
All those guys, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's been instrumental.
Yes,
and,
they have.
and we've tried to bring up as many
I
as we
know
can.
it. I know it.
Once again, I want to thank Jamie Palm for bringing in the
All
dozen
right.
donuts.
I'm going to eat one
He
today,
does it
Jamie.
every Friday to us. And, you know, we love you, Jamie. And,
Appreciate it,
and we,
brother.
once again, appreciate everyone coming in. And I know we've gone almost an hour and a half this morning, but it's been a special day.
Yes.
And a special show. And most of all, I want to give a shout out to my best buddy,
Yeah.
DT, on a speedy recovery.
Yep.
And Dennis, if you're listening, brother, this show's for you. And we want to wish you a speedy recovery and can't wait for you to get back. Anything else? I believe we've taken enough time. Coda, thank you for all your work. And Bill Booth back here in the back of the studio. And we want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening and watching as well. We hope to see you again next week on Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. You're listening to 103.3 FM, The Tiger.
Something big just dropped at McDonald's. In fact, it's so big we think it's worthy of a